What's up, y'all? Straight to the point, sports and entertainment. Want y'all to hit the like, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and hit them notifications as well, and share this video too. All right. I hope everybody's doing okay this morning. We've had a big weekend, and it's still gonna continue. We got the NFL that keeps on going. We had it on Friday. Now we got it on Sunday. Big weekend, especially if the homie, shout out to Ticket TV. I know he probably gonna get on me on this one, man. But it's a big weekend if Ticket covering the game. Shout out to Ticket, man. Ticket TV, man. Cause he said he don't even mess with football, but you know what I'm saying? We trying to wheel the brother Ticket back in there, man. But shout out to Ticket, man, for covering the game. Excellent coverage of the Colorado and Nebraska game, in which we all know that Nebraska, which a lot of people don't know, that's one of my college squads. Now, I often get on people about having one or more teams. In college, I do have two teams, or actually three teams, but my main two teams are Penn State, unfortunately, and Nebraska. And at one time, it was the University of Miami, the Hurricanes. But that's neither here nor there. Now, listen. If you're looking for me to get on here and ish on Deon and Shador and the Colorado Buffaloes, that's not what I'm gonna do. Okay, that's not what I'm gonna do. What I am gonna say is this though. Deon and the coaching staff can only do so much. Okay, can only do so much. At the end of the day, players got to go out there and they got to play. Okay, players got to go out there and they got to execute. I will get on the coach if he's not doing his best to implement what I call, his philosophy, which I think that players are willing to buy in. Okay. We got to stop saying, oh, yeah, Deon can't do this, Deon can't do that. It's not, does he deserve some blame? Yeah, of course. I mean, he is the coach, but on Deion Sanders, he's not the one that's out there playing. He's not the one that has to go out there and execute. You can only do so much. I mean, I can't say that I'm disappointed in the effort. It's just that while they're talented, they're not as talented and as I should say, their form is not quite ready for the level of expectations in which people are placing upon them. People are expecting, and I get it. The media has a lot to do with that. When you got rappers coming out there to Colorado, a place where nobody was really talking about Colorado in the beginning, the media was not even talking about Colorado unless they played a big team. The hip hop community definitely wasn't talking about Colorado. You got all types of different entertainers coming out to Colorado and everything in support of Deon and stuff like that, because of what Deon has done, his impact on the field, and also Deon has helped a lot of people off the field. But you got to blame the media, because they place these heavy expectations on this team to say that, oh yeah, this team is going to win a national championship, or they're going to make the college playoffs and all this other stuff. When really, Deon and the Colorado Buffaloes haven't begun to even scratch the surface of even being a quality college team. Okay, listen. Let's start off with the offensive line. Okay, now Shedeur Sanders actually outplayed Rayola because Shedeur Sanders he had of course one touchdown, one interception with 244 yards. What's up with it, Ted? See you in the building. Um, he had 244 yards. Now his offensive line was terrible, but Shedeur Sanders, like I said, he's not quite NFL ready. Okay, not quite NFL ready. He's not ready to be an elite NFL quarterback because you still have to make something out of nothing. But a a terrible offensive line doesn't help either. Okay, that offensive line was piss poor, and you could see it. It was like pretty much you might as well just let them on through the holes, let them on through the gaps. To go ahead and just because he was sacked 6 times, I think, to my recollection, he was sacked 6 times, and that's unbelievable. Do you want him to get hurt? Do you want him to get injured? So we got to start off with that. Then on top of that, everything that you tried to implement became so predictable. It was so predictable. It wasn't even funny. They knew what you were doing before you even tried to. There were lions coming through the hole, like pretty much flying through the hole as if these guys was on a Transformer movie or X-Men movie or something like that. That's how they were flying through those holes, and boom, couldn't go nowhere. Whether it was a running back, whether it was a receiver, you know what I'm saying? Their reads were great. They made Nebraska look like a ranked team. No, he's not that good. He's not. He had only 185 yards, but he didn't need you. But see, Ted, that's the thing. Just like Joe Flacco, he didn't need to be good. You know why? Because this game was won on pure grit, defense. That's what the game was won on. That game wasn't won on purely offense. He didn't need to go out there and be no dynamic quarterback, especially when you got a team that is predictable as they were on offense. Now we can sit up here and we can say, oh yeah, well Coach Prime, he got to get his plays together and he got to get all that together, all this other stuff. There was nothing that you were going to be able to do, neither on offense nor defense. And everybody's talking about, oh yeah, Coach Sapp needs to be fired and all this other stuff. Look, it's going to take time for a team like this to develop. And it might take a few seasons if Colorado wants to go ahead and stay with Deon. Now, this is the thing that we got to understand. Even though that they're continuing to talk about Deon and the negative light and everything like that, guess what? They're still talking about him. So guess what? They're still bringing marketing there. So next week they're gonna be like, all they're gonna do, because I think they play Colorado. They play Colorado State, if I'm not mistaken. They play Colorado State. They're still gonna be like, well, we expect them to lose and everything like that. But it's gonna generate viewership because they're gonna be like, we're anxious to see Prime get embarrassed. We're anxious to see that. So there's still gonna be people that are gonna watch the Colorado Buffaloes regardless of what you think. Regardless of what you say, people are still gonna tune in. And nobody, let's just be honest, nobody was paying attention to the Colorado Buffaloes before this. Like I was saying, man, you got the brother Ticket TV covering covering the game. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a good game if well it's something or might be something if Ticket is covering the game, and he don't really mess with football like that. But like I said, man, I'm not gonna get on here and shit on Deon. If you're looking for me to do that and say all this other stuff, no, I'm not gonna do that because everybody's blaming Deon like he could get out there and play. Everybody blaming Warren Sapp like he could get out there and play. Those guys are champions. Those guys have done the work. The only thing that they can do is lay a foundation, and those guys got to buy in. It can't be like, oh yeah, well it's Deon's fault. Like he's out there suiting up, like he can be Shador, like he could be Travis Hunter. He's already done that. He done that work. So I don't get all this nonsense about, oh yeah, he could get out there. Deon is out there and he's playing the corner position and all this other stuff like this is Deon in his prime. No. And then I want to talk about all this racist stuff that they got to say online and stuff like that, man. I heard some old weak ass shit that they try to put in the comments that you talk about. This is Section 8 University. Man, get up out of here with that, man. If we were winning, and see, we can't even win. There can't nobody win. How come y'all not calling the Patriots Section 8 University? Y'all not calling the Patriots Section 8, but guess what? They got Gerard Mayo as the coach, and they got a black quarterback there. Hadn't had a black quarterback. I don't think that my Patriots ever had a black quarterback. I mean, Cam Newton. But y'all want to sit up there. Y'all want to bring the racist context to it. But see, they want to beat a black. And I'm not trying to be all we shall overcome and shit like that. But I have to right now. You want to beat him. You want to beat a man down when he's down or whatever. But then when you mad because he getting all the popular. Now, if Deon was winning, let's say he went 2-0, 3-0, or something like that. Guess what? He's not gonna be able to win. You know why? Because it's still gonna be some fuck niggas hating. You know what I'm saying? So, all this stuff about, Section 8 University and all this other stuff, they try to do the same shit to Angel Reese. Angel Reese gets hurt, you would think, as somewhat of a competitor, some people would have some class. They ain't have it. Some people up in there talking about, oh yeah, that's what she gets and all this other bullshit. Come on, man. But yeah, Deion Sanders, man, he can't get out there and he can't play. That's not his job to do anymore. Deon doesn't play football anymore. He's just coaching. He's implementing what he thinks will work. Now, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well. There's absolutely nothing that he could do about it. The only thing that he could do is just hope that these players buy in, hope that they execute, hope that they go out there and play harder, the very next game. Some players can only play up to where their abilities allow them. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking for Travis Hunter to be the next Deon or the next Ed Reed or something like that, or the next Randy Moss, stop putting them type of expectations on them, because that's those types of players, those types of talents are once in a lifetime type talents. You're not gonna see those guys again. If you're looking for certain players in like the NFL to be a Barry Sanders or to be a Walter Payton or to be a LT or something like that, Stop putting those type of expectations on those players, because you're gonna be mad if they don't meet those expectations. That's just like what and I hate to bring him up, but I have to. That's just like this whole situation with with LeBron James and him being the GOAT. Stop putting those heavy expectations on LeBron James as if he he was destined to be Michael Jordan or something like that. They had already did that when he was in high school, and this right here, they're expecting Deon Sanders to be a Nick Saban. They're expecting him to be a Paul Bear Bryant or some bullshit. It's not going to happen. Deon Sanders ain't no Nick Saban, man. You know what I'm saying? And I never said that he was, but does he motivate? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even put this type of pressure when Herm Edwards was coaching. You know what I'm saying? And Herm Edwards, you know what I'm saying? Herm Edwards is a Hall of Famer too. Now, was he a Deon? Nah, he wasn't there. But Herm Edwards was a great player. But you don't see him. You don't see them putting a whole bunch of pressure on him. But because he's prime time, y'all expect him to be prime time. Listen, it's the same thing with Michael Jordan, right? When MJ stepped up in the front office, you got a harsh reality that MJ didn't deserve to be in that front office. Well, not deserve, but it was like they expected Michael Jordan to do what he did in the office as he did in the, you know what I'm saying, on the court. And some people are blessed in other areas than the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was blessed and gifted on the court to do what he did. But it's just unfortunate that he wasn't that great in the front office. He's a great, he was a great businessman in terms of what he done for Jordan Brand, stuff like that. But we gotta stop putting all these heavy expectations, because then everybody is gonna be feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? RIP to Rich Homie Quan. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna get on here and shit on Deon, because it doesn't all fall on Deon. The players got to go out there and play. Deon can't be an offensive lineman and stop all these defensive linemen and defensive tackles and linebackers. You know what I'm saying? From coming in there, he can't go out there and block anymore. You know what I'm saying? He can't go out there and read coverages anymore. I mean, he could read it on the sideline or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But or from the press box, wherever he chooses to be at. But in terms of, he's not out there anymore. He's not out there anymore, and everybody wants to sit up here and act like Deon could just go automatically and just make the team, construct the team to play how he wants to and all this other stuff. You got to have the personnel for it too. Everybody on that team is not a Travis Hunter. Everybody on that team is not a Shedeur Sanders. This team is not on the level of a Georgia. This team is not on the level of a Texas. This team is not on the level of an Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Or any of those teams. They're just not. So let's stop. They are where they are. They need to develop. They need to develop the program. They haven't even scratched the surface. Nowhere near. Like, you can't sit up there and say, yeah, they got talent. They got past North Dakota State and everything. But North Dakota State, nobody's looking at North Dakota State. And nobody was looking at Nebraska. But last night they sure was. If there were scouts that were, looking at Nebraska or whatever, hey, they got a chance to really show what they could do unfortunately, against a not so good team in Colorado. But they tried their best, but sometimes your best is just not good enough. Sometimes your best is just not good enough. And I know some people, they don't want to hear about Coach Prime. They don't want to hear what he got to what he has to say and all this other stuff. I like what he had to say. Everybody was mad because he said he was excited on what they had to build on. They did have something to build on. They played somewhat better in the second half in comparison to the first half. So they don't have any other choice but to build on that. There's no other choice but to build on that. You can't sit up here and hang your head, oh, we lost and all this other stuff. Nah, you got to keep going. Still got to go to practice. You still got to wake up and do film. You still got to do your workouts. You still got to get in the weight room. Only thing you can do is just develop. That's the only thing you can do is just get better. And if your capabilities will allow it for you to be great, then hey, that's great. If not, oh well, you're going to have to find a different direction. And I'm talking about individual players in this sense. But as a team, got to be cohesive. You got to, listen, it's only so much that, like I said, once again, that Warren Sapp can do and that coaching staff can do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he put in another quarterback, but I don't think he wanted Shador. I don't think he wanted to risk Shador getting hurt or anything like that. He put in the backup quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was like, oh, man, he should start and all this other stuff. What's up with it, Cypress? I see you in the building, man. Everybody, listen, bro. Deon can only do so much, man. He can only do so much. That's like me trying to coach, my son, you know what I'm saying? Let's say my son did not want to play a particular sport. He wanted to do something else. But I'm sitting there forcing him to do something that he don't want to do. He doesn't go out there and execute in a way that I don't want him to or whatever. And guess what? Something ends up happening where he gets hurt or something like that. Well, guess who that's going to be on? That's going to be on me. Deon, like I said, he can only do so much. Warren Sapp can only do so much. These guys can only do so much. Yeah, those guys were champions. Those guys went through the grit and the grind. Those guys were able to be successful at all three levels. You know what I'm saying? But these guys right here, all these guys that you asking to be NFL players and Hall of Famers and All Pros and Pro Bowlers and stuff like that, those type of heavy expectations that you putting on those guys, we going by wishful thinking. We going by wishful thinking. You know what I'm saying? And yes, I'm up early. Man. I'm up early, and we talking about everything. Now, next thing I want to talk about Wembanyama. As you know, shout out to dead homie, aka Pat Beverly. Had came out and basically stated that Victor Wembanyama is going to be. He thinks that Victor Wembanyama is going to be the best player in the league next year. Okay. Now we know that Shaquille O'Neal has kind of deflected Wembanyama. There's been some people that's been hating on Wembanyama. They've been hating on his game. Talking about, like Shaquille O'Neal sat up there and said, he shoots too many jumpers to be dominant, which I really disagree with. You know what I'm saying? Because Victor Wembanyama could still be dominant on the defensive end. It doesn't make a difference. He could be dominant on both ends. If he's shooting jumpers, guess what? He'll probably light your ass up. You never know. He's probably in the gym right now, working on his craft, working on that jumper, in which pretty much nobody's going to be able to guard his jumper because of how tall he is. So to me, that does present dominance. And if he could hit the three, if he's shooting above 38% from 3-pointers at 7'4" and hitting them with regularity, what are you talking about, Shaquille O'Neal? That is dominance. Everybody's not going to be the type of player that you were. You know what I'm saying? You were a power player. You talking about, oh yeah, they got to change rules and all this other stuff. Well, I mean, Victor Wembanyama is not. His game is not predicated on tearing the rim down and all that other stuff. And nobody in this era is doing that, tearing the rim down and all this other, Shaq proof and all that. That's once in a blue moon type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Charles Barkley terrorizing the goal, Daryl Dawkins terrorizing the goal and all that. Yeah, that's one in a lifetime type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's one in a lifetime type stuff. But Victor Wembanyama, he's a once in a life. He could be a once in a lifetime type of player to be able to dominate the way that he does, being that he's 7'4", he's taller than a Wilt Chamberlain. He's taller than what you are. He's longer than what you guys were and everything. And as a rookie, he's leading the league in blocks. And as I told everybody before, when Shaquille had made the statement that he did, Shaquille O'Neal never led the league in blocks. Victor Wembanyama did it as a rookie. You've never been a runner-up in Defensive Player of the Year. Victor Wembanyama was doing it as a rookie. Some people felt that he should have won Defensive Player of the Year. So, do I believe that Victor Wembanyama can be dominant? Yes. Yes, he can. Y'all think that he comes off as a shy guy and all this other stuff. No, he's a killer on the court. And he's already a leader. He's a leader on and off the floor. Don't let me talk about the concert that he was at. They were like, yeah, we'll just let Victor in, and that's it. And he didn't want to let his teammates in. Victor Wembanyama said, nah, we finna go. If you don't let me in there, you know what I'm saying, with my team, then we're not going in there all together. We roll as a team. That's leadership. You know what I'm saying? Victor Wembanyama, you know what I'm saying? He calling for the ball already as a rookie. When to be able to block a shot, and then on top of that, dominance can come in different forms. When you think of dominance, everybody thinking like, oh, you got to be terrorizing the goal and you got to be bullying dudes and all this other stuff. You said Ted, but Shador is the Heisman though, right? I mean, I don't think he's a Heisman candidate. And salute to you, Slim Digger, 23. I don't think he's a Heisman candidate or anything like that. And like I said, I don't think he'll go in the NFL and be no superstar either. You know what I'm saying? There's no knock on him. Is he athletic? Yeah. Can he throw the ball? Yeah. But like I told y'all before, when I see him, I don't see a Jaden Daniels. When I see him, I don't see a Caleb Williams. When I see him, I don't see a Deshaun Watson. When I see him, I don't see a Trevor Lawrence. When I see him, I don't see, a CJ Stroud and none of that. I don't see none of that. I don't see a Pat Mahomes. I don't see none of that. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of developing to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, can he do that? Yeah. I mean, hell, exactly, bro. Yeah. I mean, hey, we on the same page. I'm on the same page with you. It doesn't take anything away from his talent. Look, I'm not going to say he's trash, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's playing in the uniform, and we're not. So he's able to put on that uniform. It's easy for us to sit up here and say, "Oh man, he can't do this, he can't do that." No, I'm not gonna go that far. You know what I'm saying? Because he does have Deon blood running through his vein. So somehow, some way, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna, it's gonna correlate to what Shador can do and the rest of his kids can do or whatever. But all these heavy expectations, you expecting him to be this, oh, just because he Deion's son to automatically be, a Tom Brady or better than Tom Brady, and then you gotta let him develop. You know what I'm saying? They already, oh, he an NFL quarterback. Oh, he ready to play for the Cowboys. Man, Dak smoked Shador. He smokes Shador easily. Some of the backup quarterbacks smoke Shador easily, man. You know what I'm saying? And some people get mad when I say that, but look at that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. Now, like I said, he got to have a better offensive line. That I do know, because their defense was on him. That defense was not going to give Colorado no room to breathe at all. At all. But let me spin the block. Talking back about Wembyama. Wembyama is a if you want to call him a cheat code, yeah. I got a guy that's 7'4" that could pull up from 30 or 40. I got a guy that's 7'4" that could run just as fast as a 6'2" nigga. I got a guy that's 7'4" that is able to actually block his shot from both the perimeter and the interior. Can come from either side, the weak side to the weak side to the right, or the right to the weak. You know what I'm saying? I got a guy that can move out on the perimeter that's 7'4", that's long, 8-foot wingspan. Where you going? I got a guy that's 7'4", man. That if he did, if needed to be, if he was to work with Hakeem Olajuwon, or if he was to work with somebody with some good post moves, if he was to work with a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, guess what? I got a guy that's 7'4" that could just throw that hook in there. I got a guy that's 7'4", man, that's gonna be able to come through the lane. Come through the lane two-handed and drop that bitch in there. I got a guy that's 7'4", man, that could easily go through the rim and use it as a shield and come through and windmill that bitch. You know what I'm saying? I got a guy that's 7'4" that can pass the ball. I got a guy that's 7'4" that can run in transition. You know what I'm saying? What's up with it, Matt Moses? I see you in the building, man. I got a guy that's 7'4", man, that can cross you up and step back on you. I got a guy that's 7'4", man, that can pretty much spin off of you. What are you talking about, man? This guy can't be dominant. Yeah, he has the potential to be the best in the league, man. Hell, shit, he could fuck around and have a better year than Anthony Edwards. He could fuck around and have a better year than Anthony Edwards. You know what I'm saying? So, I've been liking Victor Wembanyama. I probably one of the few that respect him. I felt like he should have won that Defensive Player of the Year. Him and Anthony Davis. Him and AD should have possibly won it. Not Rudy Gobert. And his knack on defense. That's what Shaq got to recognize. That's why Shaq's so damn jealous. Shaq was never the defender that Wemby was. Shaq wasn't no defender like that. I mean, yeah, he had power and all that other stuff, but let's just be honest, Shaq wasn't no defender like that. I mean, he'll throw the ball and he'll throw it in the stands and stuff like that. If you look at the way that Victor Wembanyama blocks the shot, he blocks it to keep the ball in play. You know what I'm saying? Shaq ain't never led no league in rebound. He ain't never led no league in block shots. And like I said, this ain't no Shaquille shit on Shaquille or nothing like that. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna sit up there, you're gonna talk about, oh yeah, man, he can't be dominant with this, he can't be dominant with that. Nigga, just because you tore down rims and all that other stuff, that's just like one form of dominance or whatever. Wilt Chamberlain is an argument pretty much that Wilt Chamberlain was more dominant than what you were. You ain't never put up no 100 points in no game. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't running up and down the court like Wilt Chamberlain was. You wasn't as athletic as as Chamberlain was. So we gotta stop with all that, man. But yeah, Patrick Beverly is on. I mean, everybody's starting to recognize what he brings to the table. You know what I'm saying? If you surround uh, Victor Wembanyama with great talent, with guys that know what they're doing, you got a guy in Chris Paul. He can pick his brain. You know what I'm saying, to a certain extent, because what's it called? Chris Paul. He ain't no champion or none of that. You know what I'm saying? But Chris Paul is a veteran in the league. Chris Paul, um, he's been successful in his own right in some things. It's just that he was always been cursed with the injuries and stuff like that. But nevertheless, he'll still be able to pick Chris Paul's brain in a lot of things. But yeah, shout out to Dead Homie. Shout out to Patrick Beverly. Um, Let me go ahead and talk about the NFL today, man. NFL is back, man. Well, it was already back on um, Thursday and Friday. Of course, we had the Ravens and the Chiefs. That game's out of the way. That's in the books, and we had the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. We knew how that ended up. Good ones today, man. We got the Steelers, the Steelers and the Falcons. They facing off. Everybody felt like there's some people feeling like Justin Fields ain't gonna do a thing. We got the Cowboys and the Browns. We got the who we got? The Jets and the Cardinals. We got the Jack and the Panthers and the Saints. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be an action-packed day today. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be an action-packed day today, and um, I think that the 49ers they got a Monday night game, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Jets on Monday. They got a Monday night game. So they got a Monday night game. So that's gonna be interesting game. I think the 49ers are gonna probably pull that out against the Jets or whatever. Hold on. Subscribe, hit the notifications too. It's straight to the point, sports and entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.